Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle here. Doing another Q&A vid today. I don't know why, but it seems weird because last time I did a Q&A vid, letting everyone know heads up, I kind of did like spare at the moment last minute, and I got like a ton of questions in. But Thursday, I had made a heads up vid, which I said I'd do that always be titled "Ask Me Anything." That'll give everyone a heads up, that I'm doing a Q&A vid on Saturday. So I made that video on Thursday, giving people at least 2 to 3 days advance notice, let them know like, hey, I'm doing a Q&A vid for Saturday. But no one responded, except one subscriber of mine responded. I understand people are probably busy with work and school, like I am myself. But yeah. So all my set of questions come from my subscriber, the Mad Scientist 7890. So yeah, thank you for sending all the questions in that you did, because had you not sent them, I wouldn't have made this Q&A vid today. So thank you for sending the questions that you sent in, and yeah, so thanks for that. So these questions are from the Mad Scientist 7890. Your first question is, how did I get into wrestling? With me, the way I got into wrestling, pretty much, I would say most people got into wrestling said, they grew up watching it. My mom grew up watching wrestling when she was a kid, and she still watches wrestling now. And so because of that, she got my brother and myself into it. She's not really much of a wrestling historian or anything like that, but watching wrestling and stuff, myself and my 2 older siblings, we were able to get into wrestling, and that's how we were exposed to WCW, NWA, well, actually my older brother introduced me to ECW because he was a hardcore ECW fan. But yeah, so that's pretty much got into wrestling, and been one for the past 21 years now. Haven't looked back. My favorite wrestling video package. I can't really say what's my favorite wrestling video package. I've never really had a favorite wrestling video package, and secondly, too, I don't know. I never had a favorite video package, because I guess I never really thought about it. But secondly, too, I can't actually really even think back that far. But if I had to choose a video wrestling package that I liked, I could just think up off the top of my head right now, because I'm just grasping for straws. I think the video package that was between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock for WrestleMania 17. I like that video package a lot. Got me pumped up back then for the to watch the pay-per-view. Like I said, 2 of my all-time favorite wrestlers going head to head, and how they had the video package of how Austin won the Royal Rumble, and then how Rock won the WWE title at No Way Out from Kurt Angle, and how it all led up to WrestleMania 17. So I'd say that's probably my favorite video package. And like I said, I'm only saying that because I'm grasping for straws. I can't really think of a lot of video packages that I like. If I could have any wrestling company evade another, what would the 2 companies be? You had some very challenging, good questions here. If I could think of 2 companies that would invade each other, what would it be? I kind of don't want to go for the obvious, so I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I don't know. I guess maybe have ROH invade Dragon Gate. I don't know. I think that'll be pretty interesting. Yeah, I've heard some people say, TNA invade WWE. I don't know if that will work too much because the last time WWE had a invading angle, we all know how well that went. Not, but or you would say WWE guys invading TNA. That's like the obvious, and actually I don't think those would make good invasion storylines. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And then some people say, well, what about ROH invading WWE? I guess that'll be cool, but I think the only people who would benefit from that would be the ROH fans and people who know the stars from Ring of Honor. Because if you had the guys from Ring of Honor invade WWE, it'd kind of be like the same thing with like the Nexus when they invaded WWE, where it's like from the WWE audience wise, like these guys are a bunch of nobodies, we don't know who they are, so I wouldn't do that. So if I could probably like to just think on the top of my head, just I'd say ROH invading New Japan Pro Wrestling. Or even at Full Impact Pro invade Ring of Honor. That'd be cool too. Although I know FIP and Ring of Honor, they had a partnership deal back before Ring of Honor had their first TV deal with HDNet. But since then, I heard FIP are now partnering up with New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling or Dragon Gate. I think they're teaming up with Dragon Gate. So FIP no longer has any, affiliations with ROH. So maybe FIP can invade ROH. That'll be an invasion, I like to say. The next question you have, if I was a wrestler, what would my finisher be? I have quite a few favorite wrestling moves, like submission-wise and stuff. Okay, well, I'll say this here. I answer it two ways, because most wrestlers nowadays have at least like two finisher moves at least now. So for me, my two finisher moves would be the sharpshooter, because sharpshooter is my favorite submission move of all time. And then my other finishing move would probably be the Canadian Destroyer. I like that move a lot. It's different, it's unique. I've seen probably only like two people use it. One being obviously P.D. Williams, and I think I've seen a Japanese wrestler once before use the Canadian Destroyer. But those would be my two wrestling moves if I was a wrestler. If you had to be stuck in the elevator with two wrestlers, who would they be? If I had to be stuck in the elevator with two wrestlers, who would they be? I'd have to say I like to be stuck in the elevator with CM Punk and the other guy. Maybe Rowdy Piper. I don't know, for some strange reason. I definitely know CM Punk is one I'd like to be in the elevator with. But Rowdy Piper is another one too. I think I'd definitely like to be in the middle or in between of those two in a conversation. I think it'd be some pretty entertaining and funny stuff. Your next question is, are you going to check out the E60 ESPN documentary on Scott Hall? Yes, I will check it out, but I don't know what station or day or time it comes on. So that's the only thing. So if I knew what station, day and time the documentary on Scott Hall will come on, then yeah, I definitely would watch it. I've just been too lazy to try to find out for myself. But yeah. Your next question is, if you could be front row in any wrestling show in history, what would it be? If I could be in the front row of any wrestling show, what would it be? Uh, there are quite a few. One, I would like to be. I would definitely would like to have been in the front row for Steamboat, Ricky Drake and Steamboat, and Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3 for the Intercontinental title. That was one of the best matches of all time, and I would have loved to have been in front seat for that match. Another match I think that I would like to have been front row seat. I'd say WrestleMania 14, Austin versus Shawn Michaels. That was definitely, I thought, history making, because that was the day after that. Was like really when the Attitude Era like really kicked off from that day forward. Another wrestling show I think I would like to have been in front row seat of would be also to Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan at WCW Nitro. I liked that match when I was a kid. I remember watching that, and I was just, yeah, Goldberg won the title. And still now, looking back at that match now, I mean, it wasn't like the best match in the world, Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan, but the fact, you had the NWO when it was hot, Goldberg was the next big thing, and then and the crowd in the Astrodome was just absolutely phenomenal. I would like to have been in that setting, because I've been to quite a few wrestling events, and there aren't a lot of enthusiastic wrestling fans, like they were in that match. But except Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank had a fantastic. That was the most fantastic crowd I've ever seen in the wrestling event that I've been to. But those would probably be the three wrestling matches in history I would like to have front row seats to. Your next question is, any wrestler would I like to see in MMA, or any wrestlers would I like to see? You asked me, would I like to see any wrestlers in MMA, or MMA fighters would I like to see in wrestling? Well, I can't really say any MMA fighters I like to see in wrestling. I don't know, because most MMA fighters don't look like wrestlers to me, So I can't really think of an MMA fighter that I think that would fit, or me even considering to want to look and see them in wrestling. But as far as a wrestler goes, well, I'll speak for one wrestler I would like to see, if he was still in his prime, would have been Bill Goldberg. If Goldberg was in 41, 42, whatever, he was like in his early 30s or whatever, I would like to see Goldberg in mixed martial arts. I think that'd be kind of cool. Another wrestler, let me think, that I would like to see in MMA. Well, Bobby Lashley is already in MMA. Trying to think here. Think about TNA wrestlers. Can't think of anybody in TNA that I'd like to see. So I'm just gonna go with WWE. Maybe Randy Orton, because Randy Orton kind of looks like an MMA fighter, especially when he has the sleeve tattoos, which is very common for a lot of MMA fighters. They have all those, a lot of them have the tattoo sleeves and with the skulls and stuff. And Randy Orton he has that. He has those type of tattoos and stuff. So Randy Orton looks like he could be an MMA fighter. So I'd like to see that. So it's probably Randy Orton and Goldberg if he was still in his prime. And then your last question, or if I don't know if it's a question or not, but I'll answer it anyway, is that how do I get my videos that I make over 15 minutes? Actually, that's something I didn't do myself personally, really, because before I can only get the longest I can make a video was about maybe 12 minutes and 30 second mark or under. I couldn't exceed over 12 minutes and 20 or 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So I couldn't exceed that. However, I think like two months ago, I had gotten a notice to get an upgrade or not upgrade but update my YouTube app on my cell phone. And so I updated it. I updated the YouTube app on my phone. Didn't cost anything extra or anything like that. But I've noticed since I gotten that update, I've been able to upload videos like 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, 22 minutes, even 30 minutes long. So that's how my videos have. A lot of my recent videos over the past like 2.5 to 3 months has been over the 15-minute mark. Nothing I did, but just an update I got from my phone, and my phone is a Verizon Wireless Vortex Android. So yeah, so that about does it. 'Cause like I said, I gave everyone like a 2-day head notice, but no one replied back with questions. So at least you did. Thank you for that. Otherwise, I would not have made a Q&A vid, because you can't make a Q&A vid without having people ask you questions or send you questions. So yeah, thanks for sending the questions. Hope I answered your questions to the best of my ability. Yeah, you threw out some really good questions. I thought last week was really good. You got some really good questions. Kind of had me thinking. There's some questions I'm still going to think about, and I might answer again. In another Q&A vid, I might answer it again, but in a different way. But yeah, thanks for the questions. And if anyone else is watching this, if you guys want to leave your questions in, leave them in today. If you guys, I might do another Q&A vid later tonight. But that's if anybody else wants to ask more questions pertaining to wrestling or not pertaining to wrestling. So you guys decide. Peace out.